In 2006, Countrywide Financial buried an internal email in which its own CEO called the company's mortgage products toxic waste, and 8.3 million American families lost their homes to foreclosure. Yet Angelo Mozilo walked away with $471 million and never faced a single criminal charge. So why has no one ever told you what was actually in that email? That's the part they buried. Countrywide Financial was the American dream in corporate form. By the mid-2000s, it was the largest mortgage lender in the country. 1 in 5 American home loans ran through Countrywide. Angelo Mozilo was the face of it all, son of a Bronx butcher, built from nothing. He gave speeches about homeownership being a right, not a privilege. Congress loved him. Wall Street loved him. He was the man who put more Americans in houses than anyone in history. That was the story. That was the brand. But here's what was happening behind closed doors starting in 2003. Countrywide's loan officers were under explicit pressure to approve mortgages that didn't qualify under any reasonable standard. The target wasn't creditworthy buyers, it was volume. Loan volume. The more mortgages issued, the more Countrywide could bundle them into securities, sell them to Wall Street, collect the fees, and move on. The risk walked out the door with the buyer. By 2005, Countrywide was issuing what the industry called no-doc loans, mortgages approved with no verification of income, no verification of employment, no verification of assets. Internally, they called them liar loans. Not as a warning, as a product category. And Mozilo knew, not from a distance, not from a quarterly report. He knew because his own executives were telling him directly. By September 2006, he was the one writing it down. He described one of Countrywide's loan products as the most dangerous product in existence. He called the loans toxic waste. Those are his words, in his emails, on the record. But that's not even the part they really didn't want out. While Mozilo was writing those emails, he was simultaneously running a pre-planned stock sale. Between 2006 and 2007, he sold $140 million in Countrywide shares. Pre-scheduled, the company said. Perfectly legal, they claimed. But the sales accelerated. Mozilo quietly amended his trading plan to dump more shares faster, right as he knew the mortgage book was rotting from the inside. Regulators at the SEC were watching. Some flagged it. Nothing happened immediately. The Office of Thrift Supervision, the agency actually supposed to oversee Countrywide's lending, didn't press for an audit. They pressed for a partnership. Countrywide sat on their advisory panels. Lobbyists wrote the letters. The oversight looked away. Here is the real scale of what happened. When the housing market broke in 2007 and 2008, Countrywide's loan portfolio collapsed with it. Bank of America bought the company in January 2008 for $4 billion, a company that had been worth $24 billion just 2 years before. What BofA actually bought was a legal catastrophe. They spent the next decade paying it off. The final tally, over $40 billion in legal settlements tied directly to Countrywide's mortgage practices. $40 billion. And the people who took out those loans, 8.3 million American families, foreclosed. Gone, the median household that lost a home during the subprime crisis lost roughly $75,000 in equity. In communities of color, where Countrywide had aggressively pushed subprime products onto borrowers who actually qualified for conventional rates, the damage didn't just hit families. It hit generational wealth. Entire neighborhoods were hollowed out. Mozilo personally walked away with $471 million in total compensation across his tenure. That opening number you heard, remember it now. His executives collected hundreds of millions more. The loan officers who signed off on individual applications were scattered, untraceable. The bundled mortgage securities had already been sold to pension funds in Norway, to municipal accounts in rural Ohio, to retirement portfolios for teachers in Florida. The blast radius was global. The man who lit the fuse was on a golf course. In 2010, the SEC charged Mozilo with insider trading and fraud. He settled for $67.5 million, a number that sounds serious until you realize Bank of America paid $20 million of it on his behalf, and that $67.5 million against $471 million in personal earnings is a 14% fine. No admission of wrongdoing. No prison. The Department of Justice opened a criminal investigation. They closed it in 2011, quietly. No charges filed. The official explanation cited insufficient evidence. Prosecutors later acknowledged the difficulty. What Mozilo did was, in many ways, technically legal. The law had not caught up to what financial engineering had made possible. Congress held hearings. Mozilo testified. He said he believed in what Countrywide was doing. He said he believed he was helping people. He said this under oath, and walked out of the building. The Financial Crisis Inquiry Commission concluded in 2011 that the collapse was avoidable, the result of human decisions, deliberate corporate choices, and regulatory failure, not some unknowable economic force. Mozilo's emails still exist in the public record. The one calling his own products the most dangerous product in existence is still there, indexed, searchable. Nobody went to prison for what those emails described. The framework that made Countrywide possible, the packaging, the selling, the insulating of executives from the loans they issued, it wasn't dismantled. It was adjusted. So here's the question no one in that building ever had to answer. If you knew and you sold anyway, what exactly are we calling that?